Yeah, call screener.
There was no platform upon which they could stand.
I should have said, to paraphrase Neil Kinnock, it's the only time I didn't, and all the times I've ever used it.
Come on, man.
President Trump is clearly ethically unfit and intellectually unprepared to be the president of the United States. And I support Chairwoman. In the coming weeks, the House will hold hearings. Congresswoman Harris, Senator Harris. He's our president, and I would rather he not be taking something that has not been approved, especially in his age group and in his, shall we say, weight group, what is morbidly obese, they say. So completely inappropriate in so many ways that it's almost a given. It's like a child who comes in with mud on their pants or something. That's the way it is. They're outside playing. That's what he comes in with doggy doo on his shoes, and everybody who works with him has that on their shoes too. But I only will do that if you tell me that this legislation is worthy of George Kirby's name. This moment of national anguish.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
200 moms, dads, sons, daughters, grandparents who are no longer with us.
I think it's up to 30,000 people have died.
Over 600,000 dead, 600 plus
Have we gotten
thousand
the text in 25 minutes? You think it's down?
660. We're in the middle of a pandemic that had cost us more than 85,000 jobs, lives of millions of people. Now
They say there's some internet problems from Washington to Boston.
COVID.
I'm just wondering.
Yeah, we had some earlier, but it looks like it's back. I just refreshed it. We got one at 3:03.
Oh, we got a text at 3:03.
Yes.
Okay, good.
500,000, 50,000. A class of 25, you end up having two classes of 12, for example. But in the 2020 census, which is now 2 censuses ago, the Oval back in May 9, 2019, a $15 million, or $15,000. $15 minimum wage. I got to the Senate 180 years ago.
Here at the Howie Carr Radio Network, we're all about saving you money. We want you to cut out the middleman and buy direct from our great sponsors. And to help you save, I've put together a cheat sheet. For instance, if you go to EdenPure.com, you'll find the Thunderstorm Air Purifier, and you can save $10 using code Howie.
I wrote a good headline
Gen
for it,
30 heater and save even more money with code Howie Deal. Do you have a dirty, dingy carpet that could use some freshening up? Head over to Genesis950.com, use code Howie, and get a gallon of their cleaner, free shipping, and other goodies with code Howie. Put a little pep in your step with Super Beets. Get more bang for your buck and do some good for your heart by going to superbeetsradio.com/Howie. While you're at it, give your ears a treat too, and listen to your favorite music and podcasts with premium earbuds from Raycon. Get them at buyraycon.com/Howie. And finally, make cooking easier with Hellofresh. They'll send you easy-to-follow recipes and all the ingredients you need, but only if you visit HelloFresh.com/Howie. Cut out the middleman, save money, and take advantage of these deals now.
What deal can we have, Crazy Nancy?
The Constitution does not say that a person can shout wolf in a crowded theater.
But to be clear, you're not taking any arrows out of your quiver. You're not ruling anything out.
Good morning. Sunday morning. Chocolate, candy, chocolate, and then we have some other chocolate here. Consistently practice social distancing.
Why does AOC complain that you have not been grooming younger people for leadership?
I don't know. You'll have to ask her.
That was kind of sharp.
I'm not a big needle taker. I mean, I had a hard time getting my ears pierced. I'm not a big needle taker. I mean, Mother Earth is angry. She's telling us.
What do you think is...
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
Unity requires you to eliminate the vitriol.
So unity to him means, of course, approaching our work on legislative issues.
If we're going to have unity in our country, I think it's important to recognize the need for
Unity Quilt. It represents our two families coming together, and there is a personalized square for each member of our joined family.
Shut up about unity.
We're going to argue like hell. I'm confident of that. Believe me, I know that. I've been there.
live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
In the doghouse, the president's beloved German Shepherds arrive at the White House.
The youngest Major, the first rescue dog to live in the White House.
The White House has two more new residents, Champ and Major.
These dogs, they walk around all high and mighty.
We must remember there are many more important things.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
Talk about lapdogs covering the watchdogs at the White House. Can you imagine if Trump had brought in a dog? And people, they were saying, why does he bring in a dog? He's the first president not to have a dog. And people down here in Florida were saying, oh, they were going to get him a dog because there are a lot of rescue dogs down here, et cetera.
A beautiful dog, a talented dog.
But if he had brought in a rescue dog that was a purebred, like Major the dog, they would have said, why couldn't he get a mutt? And if it had brought in a mutt, they would have said, oh, he wants to just show he's a faker, that he's a man of the people. That's why he didn't get a pure breed. But again, oh, Joe, he's got all these, this rescue dog. Oh, and also it would have been a German Shepherd. He brought in a police dog. Police, you know, the ones who killed George Floyd. This is his dog. Etc., etc.
Everybody's always blaming me for everything.
They are. 339. Those are Biden's service dogs. Or is it a guide dog? Says 508. Yeah, it's some kind of service dog. Let's just go straight to the Biden cuts. He had his little press conference this afternoon, and I'm glad he didn't do it during the show, because Taylor could listen to it and I didn't have to worry. And whenever we run Biden live, I'm just thinking, I'm hearing in my mind the sounds of radios being turned off and people hitting the buttons in their cars. But it's when we can boil it down, I prefer that. So memo to Jen Psaki: let's have these things before 3:00, please, in the afternoon. So here is cut 33. This is Joe Biden. He's an economic genius, as we all know. He's been an economic genius since he voted against the Alaska pipeline in one of his first votes in the U.S. Senate back in the Ulysses S. Grant administration. Cut 33.
Forcing us to confront the huge gap in economic inequity.
Economy. Is that anything like, what is it, is there a word, ergonomy? Economy. Cut 34.
It stirred the conscience and of tens of millions of Americans.
He said that he was he conscious or was he unconscious when he said it stirred the conscience of tens of millions of Americans?
The fact is that I don't remember.
Okay, now there's the order on private prisons. This is strictly Obama nonsense. Private prisons work. Zip Connolly is in a private prison here in Florida. The crooked FBI agent. He's in this very county, Palm Beach County, down on the shores of Lake Okeechobee, and he loves it down here, I think. Cut 35.
Today, I'm also issuing an executive order that will ultimately end the Justice Department's use of private prisons, an industry that houses pretrial detainees and federal prisoners.
P-tile detainees.
P-tile?
P-tile detainees.
P-tile. Does P-tile have anything to do with inciting erections?
Private prisons, an industry that houses pretrial detainees. Detainees. Okay. And then one last one, Biden talking to Steve Ducey again. This is going to be Peter
Ducey.
Go ahead. Pete Ducey. I'm turning into Biden. Or I'm turning into Jen Psaki here. Cut 36, Pete Ducey.
Thank you.
Mr. President, what's your time on driving food about?
You. Okay, so, they complained about Kayleigh McEnany because she was a Trump person to her core. She was also very smart and very articulate, which is more than you can say here in the early going for Jen Psaki. Listen to this cut.
She also didn't wear any hats with hammers and sickles on them.
Oh, yeah, you're right about that. Yeah. I was thinking about didn't Ted Wheeler, who we'll be talking about a lot today, the mayor of Portland, didn't he run against some communist Antifa type who was wearing, she had a dress, one of these huge billowy dresses that had pictures of all the famous communist dictators on them? I think she did. But anyway, let's go to Jen Psaki, cut 18.
The actions taken by the prior administration to, for all intensive purposes, destroy the Affordable Care Act.
For all intensive purposes. Like Kayleigh McEnany being a rabid Trumpster, she would have said for all intents and purposes.
She should have thrown irregardless in there too. It's another one of my favorites.
And I was like, it's a mute point. Oh, it's a mute point. So it's a point that can't talk. It's a moot point. MOOT. I'll bet we'll hear mute point from Jen Psaki if she thinks it's an intensive for all intensive purposes. But wait, we've got a better Jen Psaki cut coming up here, and this is in the P-tile detrainees inciting an erection school of New Democrat perorations. Cut number 19.
The Biden-Harris administration to ensure that we are taking steps to increase access.
Taking sex to increase access. That's a lot like inciting an erection. All right. 844-500-4242. So we have a good poll question. Why don't we do the poll question right now, just because we've got a little time to set it up here. If you don't like what Anthony Fauci says about a mask, just wait 5 minutes, because he'll say something else. He'll say something totally different. It's like Mark Twain used to say about the New England weather. If you don't like it, just wait 5 minutes. It'll be different. So this is Fauci on 60 Minutes about, I think, 9 or 10 months ago. Cut number 20.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet, but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is.
Okay. So this next cut, Taylor, is this when he was a member of the One Mask School?
Which one is that?
22? Yeah, cut number 21.
21 has nothing to do with masks.
Oh, okay. All right. But this is okay. So that was last year, early last year. So then he switches and he says masks are extremely important. He said masks were worthless. Then he said masks are important and you'll die if you don't wear a mask. One mask. But today, again, he's changed his position on masks. Cut 22.
A lot of folks are hearing now about double masking, wearing two masks or trying to get one of those N95 medical grade masks. Do you believe that that's advisable and makes a difference?
You know, it likely does, because, I mean, this is a physical covering to prevent droplets and virus to get in. So if you have a physical covering with one layer, you put another layer on, it just makes common sense that it likely would be more effective. And that's the reason why you see people either double masking or doing a version of an N95.
So if two masks are better than one, then what's the over-under on how long it's going to be before he endorses 3 masks? Or 4 or 5? It's like the $15 minimum wage. If the $15 minimum wage doesn't cost the jobs of the workers who were being fired because the companies can't afford it, why stop at $15? Why don't we make the minimum wage $150 an hour or $1,500 an hour?
When they first put filters on cigarettes, they thought it was going to stop cancer. Then you went to like double charcoal filtered cigarettes,
Right.
and you still get cancer.
The unique gas trap filter, that's what I used to use in Larks. I preferred that over the micronite filter of Kent's. And and you're right, every cigarette had a different filter to it. But so now we're up to 2 masks again. He's had 3 different positions in less than a year when it comes to how many masks that that you need it. All right, so we're going to do a poll question here because it involves the masks. Take advantage of HelloFresh's New Year's sale and get simple recipes and fresh pre-portioned ingredients delivered to your door contact free. I just got my delivery right before I came over to the studio here. I got Italian chicken over lemony spaghetti. I got fully loaded pork taquita, and my favorite, this is the one I'm going to make next, mozzarella stuffed burger.
Ooh, that sounds really good.
Really sounds good. Mozzarella stuffed burger. I like mozzarella on top of the burger, but stuffed in the middle too. That's really good. So that's what you can get. You can get all kinds of stuff. Right now, get 10 free meals, including free shipping during HelloFresh's New Year sale with code Howie10 at HelloFresh.com. That's code Howie10 at HelloFresh.com. Taylor, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Which of Dr. Fauci's mandates do you believe? No masks, 1 mask, or 2?
I always think that the first thing out of someone's mouth is probably closer to the truth. So I'm going with 0 masks.
85% say no masks is their optimum choice for the mandates. 1 mask at 9% and 6% say 2 masks.
Patrice in Arlington, she said she went out for a walk today, and it's a cold day, obviously, up there. And she said that she ran into 3 pedestrians in the People's Republic of Arlington that were already wearing 2 masks. That didn't take, man. As Abraham Lincoln said, you can fool some of the people all of the time. All of the time. 844-500. 4 masks on 1 is Democrat fun. Oh, and Old Gold. They had spin filters. Spin filters didn't cut it. Old Gold was kind of on the downhill slide by the time filter cigarettes came in. All right, 844-500-4242. If you are thinking of replacing your carpets due to pet stains and odors, you must try Genesis 950. The reviews are amazing, as this is one product that actually works. With water, it breaks down the bonds of stains and odor, so they're gone for good. Its antibacterial component removes pet odors from carpet and padding. It can be used in a carpet cleaning machine, and it's green, so it's safe for your family. Genesis made in America. If you are tired of pet cleaners that don't work, it's time to buy Genesis 950. 1 gallon of industrial strength Genesis 950 makes up to 7 gallons of cleaner. But Genesis 950 is not just for pet stains. It's great for bathrooms, kitchens, floors, upholstery, and grease stains. Consider Genesis 950 before purchasing new carpets. Genesis 950 has great customer service. Order 1 gallon direct at Genesis950.com to receive a free spray bottle, free shipping, and a $10 coupon using code Howie. That's Genesis950.com. Coupon only available for 1 gallon purchase. Genesis 950. Much, much cheaper than replacing your carpets. I'm Howie Carr.
You're tuned into the Howie Carr Radio Network.
So when we come back, Howie, I'll just go right into the cheap bastard music.
Okay, sounds good.
And you've got David from my Gem Spot.
Okay.
From beginner to instructor level. Come to where the trainers train. Visit defensivestrategies.org.
We are now effective today requiring all counties to close their indoor activities, their indoor operations in the following sectors: restaurants, wineries, tasting rooms. A few weeks ago, I was asked to go to a friend's 50th birthday. I made a bad mistake. Instead of sitting down, I should have stood up.
Stay at home as much as possible. Put those social gatherings on hold, including extra care
for Thanksgiving.
Denver's mayor told you to stay home for Thanksgiving, then he got on a flight to go see family out of state.
Oh,
Some people calling Supervisor Kuehl a hypocrite. Now, on November 24th, she voted to ban outdoor dining, and on the very same day, she was spotted eating out.
I take responsibility for trusting the word of the neighborhood salon that I've been to over the years. As it turns out, it was a setup. So I take responsibility for falling for a setup. This salon owes me an apology. What they do.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair, so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie.
Normally, we give Fredo Cuomo a lot of attention, but lately it's Governor Andrew Cuomo who's been grabbing headlines. Let's take a listen to some of his best moments.
You're an essential worker, so go take a job as an essential worker.
But the people aren't hiring because of...
No, there are people hiring. You can get a job as an essential worker. So now you can go to work and you can be an essential worker and you're not going to kill anyone. The number is down because we brought the number down. God did not do that. Fate did not do that. Destiny did not do that. We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great. Because I can all see you're in masterful shape, buff even. It has a very nice floral bouquet. A little I detected lilac, hydrangea, tulips. What does it smell like to you? Tulips, yes. Floral bouquet.
Because if that's who they are, and if they are the extreme conservatives, they have no place in the state of New York.
He didn't come here to be made sport of.
Funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown. I amuse you. I make you laugh. What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
Howie Carr is here to stay.
It's Howie Carr's cheap bastard deal.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds too good to be true.
Oh no, it's real and it's a steal.
You know there's plenty more when you shop at Howie's store for another Howie Carr cheap bastard deal.
Howie Carr, the cheapest bastard around.
We've got a deal today. We've had this deal before. It always goes very, very fast. So get on board right now, HowieCarShow.com, and click on store. And this is a perfect gift for Valentine's Day. I'm speaking to the men in the audience. I guess you could give it to your husband, but it's mainly it's more of a present for a woman. The Kathy Ireland Gym Spa turns your $1,000 dishwasher into a $1,000 jewelry cleaning and sanitizing machine. Made with surgical grade stainless steel, high grade polymer, and no mechanical parts, the Kathy Ireland Gym Spa ensures a lifetime of clean and sanitized jewelry. You will be blown away by how great it works. You just put your jewels into the gym spa, the Kathy Ireland Gym Spa, and close it, and then put it in. Turn on the heat. You can clean your dishes with it too, and the jewelry will come out looking like it's been professionally cleaned, because it has been professionally cleaned by a dishwasher. It'll save you a lot of money, a lot of time going to the jewelers, and it's just very convenient. And it's again, you can get it. It usually goes for $69.95, but you can get it at half price right now. It's $34.98, half price. It's a great Valentine's Day gift, especially if your wife's always complaining that the jewelry looks dingy, and she has to take it down to the jewelry store, which is probably only open by appointment now, et cetera, et cetera. So Dave from My Gym Spa is here to explain how it works. David, thanks for being with us here on the Howie Carr Show. Tell us about the Kathy Ireland Gym Spa.
Hey, I'll tell you, Howie, we did a phenomenal business with you this Christmas. We sold thousands of units. We've gotten nothing but fantastic reviews from all of your customers. We really appreciate the business. And as great a Christmas gift as this was, I have to tell you, it makes an even better Valentine's Day gift. Because honestly, unlike flowers or candy or some other types of gifts that people typically give on Valentine's Day, the Gem Spa is a gift that you give for a lifetime. It's a lifetime of clean jewelry, bacteria-free, virus-free, germ-free, but most importantly, bright and brilliant, making your jewelry look as new as it was the day you bought it. You can't beat it.
Yeah, you forget how shiny jewelry, like a ring, can look until you put it in the Gem Spa, and it takes like 30 or 45 minutes, and then it comes out, and it looks like it's brand new.
Oh, yeah, it's unbelievable. And you have to try it to believe it. A lot of people are skeptical at first. They don't want to try it. But when they take it, they bring it home, they put one piece of jewelry in it, see how it's going to work. They see how beautifully their jewelry comes out. It's amazing. They absolutely love it. And I know on the Cheap Bastard deal that we usually sell these out within like the first 5 or 10 minutes. But I want to let people know that they can go to mygemspa.com and use the promo code GRACE and save 20%. So even if you miss out on the Cheap Bastard deal, you can still buy the Gem Spa at an unbelievable price at 20% off.
And Grace is here. And I would like to say I was very skeptical at first, too. And now I do it all the time. I have this in my house. I use it.
You got it for all your female relatives, right?
I got it for my mom, my aunts, because you don't realize how dirty your jewelry is until it's clean all the time. And having mine clean all the time, I get so many more compliments. You don't have to be afraid of the dishwasher, guys. This is a really easy to use machine. It keeps your jewelry super safe.
Yep. We use the exact same type of elements to clean jewelry in our jewelry store. We use steam. We use hot water. We use all kinds of detergents. The dishwasher uses those same exact ingredients, but in a much softer way. But it runs at a longer cycle, so you get just the same results, even though you're doing it right at home. And you can do it with your dishes. So what could be more convenient? So what we do at my house, we take our jewelry off at night, we put it in the dishwasher, run it overnight, get up in the morning. Our jewelry is beautiful, clean, shiny, sanitized, and ready to go.
Go to HowieCarrShow.com, click on store, get the deal now. I'm Howie Carr.
As this year of COVID draws to a close, it's time to make sure your portfolio is ready for whatever happens next. Kevin Frisbee and the team at Frisbee & Associates are ready to help you. It's called the 100-100 Challenge. If you have $100,000 saved for retirement and come in for that no-cost, no-obligation consultation, you walk out with $100 cash. That's right, $100 just to let Kevin do a portfolio x-ray and see what might be hiding in your current plan. Call now for your no-cost or obligation consultation, and you could walk out with $100 cash. Call 800-989-9100. That's 800-989-9100. Kevin is a true fiduciary. That means by law, he's always working in your best interest. And be sure and catch Kevin on the Howie Carr radio program every Thursday afternoon for a market review and tips on creating the retirement of your dreams. Call Kevin Frisbee today, 800-989-9100. That's 800-989-9100.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not generally speaking unruly.
That ain't a riot, what we're seeing right now in Minneapolis. They are strictly principled anti-fascists.
No organization is perfect. There was some violence.
Any reasonable person would say we shouldn't be destroying other people's property, but these are not reasonable times.
I argue to you tonight, all punches are not equal morally.
But thank goodness for the looters, man.
And please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do not get it twisted and think that, this is something that has never happened before, and then this is so terrible, and where are we, and these savages and all of that. This is how this country was started.
People get mad, and people get sick of it. People are risking COVID to explain to this country that we're fed up.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie. www.superbeetsradio.com/Howie.
We are now effective today requiring all counties to close their indoor activities, their indoor operations in the following sectors: restaurants, wineries, tasting rooms. A few weeks ago, I was asked to go to a friend's 50th birthday. I made a bad mistake. Instead of sitting down, I should have stood up.
Stay at home as much as possible. Put those social gatherings on hold, including extra care for Thanksgiving.
Denver's mayor told you to stay home for Thanksgiving, then he got on a flight to go see family out of state.
Some people calling Supervisor Kuehl a hypocrite. Now, on November 24th, she voted to ban outdoor dining, and on the very same day, she was spotted eating out.
I take responsibility for trusting the word of the neighborhood salon that I've been to over the years. As it turns out, it was a setup. So I take responsibility for falling for a setup. This salon owes me an apology for what they do.
This is Charlie Baker.
Hey everybody, Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker here.
And these are his friends.
I can't tell you how many times in the past couple of months, somebody I know has told me a story.
In the world of Charlie Baker and his friends, the real world of panic porn, political leaders cannot survive without absolute power. And the public can't be expected to blindly follow orders without first hearing a made-up story.
Somebody I know has told me a story about how they got it, and it all goes back every single time to some informal gathering where nobody wore masks, nobody kept their distance, and the virus spread.
It's a confusing, nonsensical, follow-the-science world. But it's the only world they know.
I mean, it's pretty common at this point that that's where a big piece of this is coming from.
And they're the only friends Charlie Baker has.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
844-500-4242. That's the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show. And with us now is Grace Curley with Grace's News.
Hello, Howie. Thank you for having me. I want to start with the story you told me about this morning, which I wasn't able to get to earlier. Joe Biden's $1.5 billion campaign haul reportedly helped by $145 million in dark money.
Yes, they're very concerned about Republicans using dark money, but when Democrats use it, it's okay. President Trump only received $28 million. Do the math. He received less than 1/5 of the quote-unquote dark money that Dementia Joe got.
Well, you know who received a lot of dark money? And everyone's impressed that Biden was able to eclipse this number, was Mitt Romney.
Did he really?
He had $113 million in dark funds in 2012, and he still couldn't become president.
I know. He didn't spend it very wisely, did he?
No, he did not. Also, Howie, an update on the Lauren Wolf drama.
Yes.
Now the New York Times fired her after her pro-Joe Biden tweet. I don't think they should have, because I like when people make fools of themselves on Twitter. I don't think you should ever lose your job for that. But she came under fire. She lost her job. And now she's saying that the reason they fired her is because of the tweet, and they're saying it's not. And this was what she said. She told the Post's Eric Wemple, "Every day I was scared I was going to do something wrong. So whatever they're implying, it's a shot at my reputation. which I've worked very carefully to build.
Yeah, why'd you send out that stupid tweet then if you're so concerned about your reputation?
The people I'm mad at are the people who put out the statement. I respected tremendously the people I worked with. I respected them to the end of the earth and still do. They were the end all, the be all.
Did you notice too that we talked about this earlier? They had this podcast. We're into podcasts because we did one ourselves. They got this guy who claimed he was a soldier for ISIS. I think it was ISIS in Syria, and he was chopping off heads. And the story was too good to check out. He made it all up. He was living in his uncle's basement in Ontario somewhere. And they just ran with it like it was true. And they won these big awards for their great stories. And it was all fake. And so Canada decided to bust him for being a terrorist. And he said, you can't arrest me for being a terrorist. I made all that crap up. And they haven't fired anybody from the New York Times because one of the editors of it was one of the Sulzberger family, the Oaks and the Sulzbergers who own the paper. And they just reassigned the reporter. Isn't that weird? So they didn't. That was a much worse thing than what that idiot Lauren Wolf did. And another thing, Grace, the New Yorker. Did you see that they've returned the National Magazine Award that they got for a story about how you rent families in Japan? There was only one problem.
What?
The families were all invented by the agency that set up the rental families, and they just gave them these fake stories. And the New Yorker never checked out anything, so they ran a story like the Caliphate, and it was all fake. And so they're giving back their National Magazine Award, which the New York Post said is the most prestigious award in the magazine industry. But how prestigious can it be if I won it once, which I did?
Hey, don't put yourself down. You're a tremendous slouch, Howie.
Yeah, this is the first time a National Magazine Award has ever been given back.
Well, are they going to give any awards back for the Russiagate? I mean, a lot of those magazines and those networks, they won awards for that. A lot of those journalists won awards.
No, the Pulitzer Prizes for running a fake story. I got this story, and I haven't figured out yet. It's a long story. I haven't figured out how to present it on the show. But the guy who wrote it for the City Journal says as journalistically, it was a disaster because they were writing fake news. They were making crap up for 2 years. But I mentioned this on the air yesterday. But the New York Times, when it started the hoax, they had 1 million paid subscribers. And when they finally had to admit that it was a hoax, they had 6 million paid subscribers online. So it was a magnificent monetization of fake news.
Yeah, and that's kind of the one thing that would really make me feel better. We were talking a little bit today about poetic justice, and one thing that would make me feel better after Trump lost the election, and that's what they're sticking with. So it would be good if all of these networks could just plummet, like if all their ratings just went down the tubes. And I have to assume that's what's going to happen because I can't imagine anyone watching Joe Scarborough for like the entertainment value. The guy just talks complete nonsense, and like they all do, or Brian Stelter. And so I have to imagine people aren't going to be watching this stuff.
Yeah, I know you played this cut before, but this is a really weird cut from Joe Scarborough. I want to play it now.
You got to play it again. It's so brutal.
He's talking about that Josh Hawley is well, listen to the cut number 26.
This guy he's got the bone structure, by the way. He's such a thin little guy. He's got the bone structure of a bird. And he's holding up those little bird hands. Like, look at that. Look at him. Come on, fellas. Let's do it. Whee!
All right.
No, but he's got the bone structure. But still.
The ego on Joe Scarborough is amazing to me.
I've never seen a bird with hands.
Well, Howard, you also notice
bird hands.
Yesterday, one of Liz Cheney's spokespeople came out because Matt Gaetz was going to Wyoming, and she said the spokesperson said, men in Wyoming don't wear makeup. It was like supposed to be a dig at Matt Gaetz. And I'm just thinking, for a bunch of people who are so confident in themselves and are so much smarter than all of us, why do they always have to resort to that kind of stuff? Like, why does Joe Scarborough, he first of all, he said that Josh Hawley was responsible for the riots.
Yeah, let's listen to that one too. We might as well listen to that one. Cut 25.
I mean, he's one of those little, but he goes to Stanford and Yale, and he uses it for evil. He uses it to kill Capitol cops. He uses it to start seditions against the United States of America.
Wasn't Eli Yale a slave owner? I think Eli Yale was a slave owner. When are they going to change the name of Yale University?
Well, it's funny to me that it's just dawning on Joe Scarborough that someone could go to an Ivy League school and disappoint him. Do you know how many Ivy League school people we make fun of all the time on this show? He's like, he's using his degrees for evil.
Bill Clinton went to Yale Law School. Hillary went to Yale Law School.
And Mika just laughs. She thinks it's so funny. Hey, by the way, Howie, but going back to this Lauren Wolf story really quick, because there's a part of this I didn't realize. She also wrote, so it says, Wolf became the center of Twitter controversy after she reacted to then President-elect Joe Biden's plane landing the day before his inauguration. She wrote, like we all know, Biden landing at Joint Base Andrews now, I have chills. Wolf also wrote, the pettiness of the Trump administration not sending a military plane to bring him, meaning Joe Biden, to D.C., as is tradition, is mortifying, childish.
Very fake news.
And then it says, Wolf was not aware that Biden had chosen to take his own plane to Washington.
She wasn't aware of it because all the networks were reporting that there was this terrible snub, and it wasn't true. And people like Jake Tapper have never pulled down the tweets that they put out. They've never issued an on-air apology to President Trump for this scurrilous allegation against him.
Well, Howie, I think the best tweet, so a lot of people were tweeting in response to her. We covered it when it happened. People were just embarrassed for her. But Glenn Greenwald had the best tweet. He said, if you're in the national press and will be on TV at any point today and feel the need to weep joyously, just hold it in until you find a private place. Nobody is expecting any. This is my favorite part. He says, nobody is expecting any adversarial coverage over the next 4 years, but it's just a matter of personal dignity.
That's a good way to put it. Personal dignity.
I always feel that way. Like, don't cry on television. There's no need for it ever. Guys, Grace's News is brought to you by Toyota of Portsmouth, the house of value. I absolutely love my new RAV4 XLE that I got at Toyota of Portsmouth. I especially love it in the wintertime. The roads around here can be kind of scary, and this is the best car to have. I feel so safe, and I got a really great deal. Go to Toyota of Portsmouth. They have a huge, sparkling clean showroom and an incredible staff. They are located just south of the Portsmouth traffic circle off 95. Go to toyotaofportsmouth.com or visit them at the showroom and tell them Grace sent you. Howie, I don't know if you've been following this, but the Capitol Police have apologized and are admitting that advanced intel showed Congress was target before insurrection. There was a lot of video that showed these Capitol Police officers kind of just watching people walk in. Mm-hmm. It was really weird. And now they're coming forward and saying that they failed to meet their own standards to immediately secure the Capitol building. It says, in the face of a terrorist attack by tens of thousands of insurrectionists determined to stop the certification of electoral college votes. But if you watch
Grace,
videos,
you mean it's not Trump's fault? But Senator Schumer says that he incited the erection.
No, exactly, Howie. And then I'm sure I think you already played Jen Psaki, but they have their minds are in the gutter lately.
I know.
We feel democracy is working how it should. He laid out his big package.
Oh, I didn't know that one. I hadn't heard that one yet. Oh boy. Howie, yeah, so it's very interesting because, like you said, it was pre-planned. So I don't know how they're going to say that this was Trump incited this riot if they already knew it was happening.
Trump didn't turn down Biden's request for an airplane to bring him to Joint Base Andrews, but they still said it anyway, right? Trump didn't collude with the Russians, but they still said it anyway.
Well,
Carter Page was a CIA asset, and they repeatedly said, and now it apparently turns out, according to the pre-sentencing documents, that all the hires up at the FBI knew that Carter Page had been a CIA asset, and it helped bag some Russians years earlier. But they still went ahead with it. So what do they care about the truth?
Howie, it's like the podcast about the caliphate. Some things are just too good to check out. By the way, if you want a podcast that you can check out the details on, and it actually is true, it's not fake news, you should check out Dirty Rats wherever you get your podcasts, because that's a true crime podcast that is based in reality, not based on, what the New York Times is concocting on a daily basis. Howie, thank you for having me, and I look forward to hearing the rest of the show.
Thank you, Grace. Great news. The Gen 40 heater is back and just in time for the really cold temperatures that are afflicting New England. Oil prices are going to go up. It's snowing. It's going to be snowing today on the ride home. The Keystone XL pipeline has been stopped. 35 million gallons of oil a day are gone. Now they're talking about the Dakota pipeline. Now there's a new moratorium on fracking on federal land. That means natural gas. It was 10 degrees in parts of New England this past weekend, and we're set to get a snowstorm tonight. You need to start planning, and that means you need the Gen 40 heater. Robert from the Cape says the Gen 40 performs like no other heater I've ever used. It is remarkable, right, Taylor?
It sure is, and it's a great fallback, especially if you live in an older house like I do. You know, it's 70 years old, and the heating system is a bit antiquated. If it goes out, you're out of luck, unless you have the Gen 40 heater, which we do, and we have it in the most crucial of places, our baby's room, and it's completely safe for the baby, for the cat, for everybody in the house, and we just love it.
You're really going to miss it when you have to bring it back to my office when I get back to New England.
What do you mean?
The Eden Pure Gen 40 makes you feel warmer than your furnace, and it also costs less to run. You may be working more from home now, and you will need to pay close attention to the heating bills, even more so than before. The Eden Pure Gen 40 will pay for itself in a matter of weeks. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word HowieDeal to get $50 off the sale price. That's EdenPure.com and use code word HowieDeal for an extra $50 off. These heaters are in high demand, so go right now to EdenPure.com. I'm Howie Carr.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Radio.
Are the cleaners gone? They're gone?
Yeah, 46 left. 46.
Oh, 46. Okay, good. Oh, you can open up the line.
Your senator, my senator, Senator Elizabeth Warren.
I know who I am because of what my mother and my father told me.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Governor Deval Patrick.
And frankly, I got to tell you, with all the other things I'm worrying about, this is not one of them. We're going to be fine. I'm in charge.
Please join me in welcoming our own Senator Ed Markey.
The planet is running a fever. There are no emergency rooms for planets.
The very first African-American congresswoman to be elected from Massachusetts, Ayanna Pressley.
We don't need any more brown faces that don't want to be a brown voice. We don't need black faces that don't want to be a black voice. We don't need Muslims that don't want to be a Muslim voice. We don't need queers that don't want to be a queer voice.
Let's give him a great Waterloo reception. John Kerry.
The Yankees posted the Boston Red Sox logo and they sang Sweet Adeline.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. Buyraycon.com/Howie. And now, a minute of wisdom from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Millennials and people and Gen Z and all these folks that come after us are looking up, and we're like, the world is going to end in 12 years if we don't address climate change. And your biggest issue is how are we going to pay for it? And this is the war. This is our World War II.
I think that there's a lot of people more concerned about being precisely, factually, and semantically correct than about being morally right.
But being factually correct is important.
It's absolutely important.
And if we work our butts off to make sure that we take back all three chambers of Congress, all three chambers of government, the presidency, the Senate, and the House in 2020, we can't start working in 2020.
Every time you turn around, expect to see me. There's one time you'll turn around and I'll be there.
The Howie Carr Show.
844-500-4242. We still have some Kathy Ireland gem spas left. The jewelry cleaning machine. It's a fantastic device. Just put your jewelry inside and then put the gem spa into the dishwasher in your house, and it cleans it. The jewelry comes out looking brand spanking new. It's also sanitized. And we got a few left. HowieCarShow.com, and click on store and you can get it. It's a perfect Valentine's Day gift. When you go to HowieCarShow.com, you can also check out the new column by Jim McKenna. He's a former Republican candidate for Attorney General. He's writing about how they're coming after assault weapons again. They're coming after assault weapons, and you'll be hearing stuff from Joe Biden, who thinks that it's the AR-14, not the AR-15. He's knows a lot about guns, but these are the people that are making the call, or going to try to make the call. I don't think they're going to get anywhere. 844-500-4242, 919. Got my second Moderna shot today and received my papers. I'm good to travel across state lines. Well, you know, you may say that, 919, but again, the
papers are not in order.
The goalposts are constantly changing. You know, does this protect you against the new variant, the new mutant strain? Does this not take effect for 3 weeks? That's what some of the cultists are saying. You have to stay put for 3 more weeks afterwards, and we don't know how long it will be effective. And again, remember the mutant strain, the variant strain. Steve, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Steve.
Hi, Howie. How you doing?
Good.
I've been following this insurrection plot, and hopefully I can bring some logic to the argument here. I mean, basically what's been going on, okay, they were just about to start challenging some of the Biden electors. Does it make sense that Trump supporters would be like not wanting that to happen? And some of these supposed Trump supporters, oh, Trump made me do it. I don't know if you've seen any of the public apologies by some of these people. Oh, you poor Trump supporter. We're sorry you were misguided. We accept your apology. I mean, they're not only bad actors, evil. I mean, they're bad actors. They're just not even good actors.
I know it's just so silly, but they were waiting for this for all these years, and they finally got this thin gruel of a riot, and they're making it sound like it was 9/11 or Pearl Harbor, and I don't know that anybody's buying it. You know, they had 2 weeks before he left office to promote this narrative. I won't call it a hoax because something happened, but I mean to totally blow it all out of proportion, especially compared to the earlier riots, of Antifa and Black Lives Matter, and it did not dent his popularity in the slightest. So what did it really mean? And they're not going to impeach him. And so now you have Eric Swalwell, who was sleeping with a Chinese spy, is basically accusing him of sedition. Can you believe that? And he say, I've been cleared by the FBI. The FBI? You mean the FBI that tried to frame Donald Trump has cleared you? Oh, okay.
The FBI has said that I did nothing wrong. Don't take it from me. There was no wrongdoing. I've learned nothing new. And Speaker Pelosi has said that she's keeping me on the committee. And by the way, Jake, Republicans were briefed on this conduct that this individual was trying to do with me and many other members of Congress back in 2015.
I don't believe that's true. I don't believe they've said that. No, and nobody I've heard on the Republican side has said, yeah, we knew about this for 5 years and we didn't say anything, even when he was running for president. They didn't say that. Roland, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Roland.
Yeah, you know what? Since that the Speaker of the House is the one responsible for the
security
building,
yeah,
the security, the guarding. And there weren't enough guards. Even if she didn't incite it, she was partly responsible for them getting it.
Negligence is the word legally. Negligent. She was negligent. Why the Capitol Police Chief? He's the one. He was the patsy, the fall guy. They made him quit. but it wasn't. He's not the ultimate responsibility. It's like Mike Dukakis used to say. One of the few things I ever agree with him: the fish rots from the head. And in this case, the fish's head is Nancy Pelosi, Madame Botox, Marie Antoinette with her Sub-Zero freezer and her gelato ice cream. She's ultimately responsible for this, and of course she refuses to take any responsibility. Just like she didn't take any responsibility for not wearing a mask and breaking the lockdown rules in San Francisco. She was set up.
What's that about?
844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr.
Still have about 40 left, Howie. Also, Rand Paul's attempt to declare that Trump's impeachment trial is unconstitutional failed 55 to 45. 5 senators that voted against, the 5 Republican senators: Collins, Murkowski, Romney, Sass, and Toomey.
Collins, Murkowski,
Romney, Sass, and Toomey.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Liberty Safe. If you're a gun owner, you know that name because they've worked so hard to earn the title of America's #1 safe. And the area's best Liberty Safe dealer is Dependable Lock in Nashua. They have Liberty Safes in stock now. Keep your guns and other valuables locked up in a Liberty Safe. See the experts at Dependable Lock to learn more and see the full collection. LibertySafeNewHampshire.com. LibertySafeNewHampshire.com.
Joe Biden accuses Trump of being a racist, but if you listen to Biden's comments, you would agree that he doth protest too much.
If you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
He's the first mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean.
Madam President, we have predators on our streets.
That kid wearing a hoodie may very well be the next poet laureate and not a gangbanger.
They are beyond the pale, many of those people.
God love you. You've been here all day. My Lord, you may feel like you're being incarcerated.
We have no choice but to take them out of society.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro.
They're going to put you all back in chains. Unlike the African-American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Joe Biden accuses Trump of being a racist, but if you listen to Biden's comments, you would agree that he doth protest too much.
If you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
He's the first mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean.
Madam President, we have predators on our streets.
That kid wearing a hoodie may very well be the next poet laureate and not a gangbanger.
They are beyond the pale, many of those people.
God love you. You've been here all day. My Lord, you may feel like you're being incarcerated.
We have no choice but to take them out of society.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro.
They're going to put you all back in chains. Unlike the African-American community, with notable exceptions, the Latino community is an incredibly diverse community with incredibly different attitudes about different things. If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Here at the Howie Carr Radio Network, we're all about saving you money. We want you to cut out the middleman and buy direct from our great sponsors. And to help you save, I've put together a cheat sheet. For instance, if you go to EdenPure.com, you'll find the Thunderstorm Air Purifier, and you can save $10 using code Howie. You can also get Eden Pure's Gen 30 heater and save even more money with code Howie Deal. Do you have a dirty, dingy carpet that could use some freshening up? Head over to Genesis950.com, use code Howie, and get a gallon of their cleaner, free shipping, and other goodies with with code Howie. Put a little pep in your step with Super Beets. Get more bang for your buck and do some good for your heart by going to superbeatsradio.com/Howie. While you're at it, give your ears a treat too and listen to your favorite music and podcasts with premium earbuds from Raycon. Get them at buyraycon.com/Howie. And finally, make cooking easier with Hellofresh. They'll send you easy to follow recipes and all the ingredients you need, but only if you visit hellofresh.com/Howie. Cut out the middleman, save money, and take advantage of these deals now.
He's the gaff that keeps on giving. Here's 1 minute of former Vice President Joe Biden.
You teachers who touch them, figuratively speaking, well, I hope you touch them and tell them how much you love them too. But my point is, when you touch their hearts, I get in trouble for some things I say, but I want to tell you, just be straight up. If I'm your president, me, it starts here in my gut, goes to my heart, and then I articulate it. And by the way, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. 1.2 billion. So you go ahead and you stack spaghetti sauce at a store in a supermarket. You control the guy or the woman who brings out the carts on a forklift. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap, and I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
And now a namaste moment with Chris Cuomo.
Hope with me that today Dr. King's example inspires the many striving for better and enlightens the toxic few determined to be their worst.
Yeah, you're going to have a problem. What are you going to do about it? I'll ruin your I'll throw you down these stairs like a punk.
We could not have a better reminder that you can't kill an idea with violence. And I don't want some jackass, loser, fat tire biker to be able to pull over and get in my face and in my space. And that violence can be used as a refuge for those coming from a place of animus and ignorance.
What's the best way to handle it? You just ignore it.
Naked choke?
Just ignore
Punch
it.
to the sternum. As Dr. King taught us, darkness can only be removed by the light of truth. And love is the ultimate form of truth.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Watch out, Joe Biden. You might have to share some of the spotlight because your running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, is certainly grabbing some attention for her own gaffes.
She was part of our culture. Yes, we wear those notorious B.I.G. t-shirts with a lot of pride.
Best rapper alive, Tupac. He's not alive. You say he lives on.
Not alive. I know. I keep doing that. A Harris administration together with Joe Biden as the president of the United States. The Biden-Harris administration. We have got to, in America, reimagine how we are accomplishing public safety. And let's be clear, there is no vaccine for racism.
Let's just say there's a vaccine that is approved and even distributed before the election. Would you get it?
Well, I think that's going to be an issue for all of us. I will say that I would not trust Donald Trump.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. hairman.com/Howie.
Watch out, Joe Biden. You might have to share some of the spotlight because your running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, is certainly grabbing some attention for her own gaffes.
She was part of our culture. Yes, we wear those notorious B.I.G. t-shirts with a lot of pride.
Best rapper alive, Tupac. He's not alive. You say he lives on.
I'm not alive. I know. I keep doing that. A Harris administration together with Joe Biden as the president of the United States. The Biden-Harris administration. We have got to, in America, reimagine how we are accomplishing.
Better strap yourself in. It's time for the Howie Carr Show.
Unity requires you to eliminate the vitriol.
So unity to him means, of course.
Hey, Howie.
Yes.
I got your email. That the Howie BOGO still it works. It's all one word. Howie BOGO.
Okay. Howie BOGO. Okay. I'll just tell. I'll
All
mention
one
that.
word. Some
Okay.
guy was separating BOGO for some reason.
Okay. Can you send it back to him? He's like a regular guy I used to work with.
I will.
Okay.
Know that. I've been there.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
In the doghouse, the president's beloved German Shepherds arrive at the White House.
The youngest Major, the first rescue dog to live in the White House.
The White House has two more new residents, Champ and Major.
These dogs, they walk around all high and mighty.
We must remember there are many more important things.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
844-500-4242. So Rand Paul, the senator from Kentucky, who I'm getting to like more and more, he just put forward a motion to say that it's unconstitutional to impeach someone who's not in office anymore, meaning the president of the United States. And that went down on a 55-45 vote. So in other words, 5 Republicans defected. And you'll not be surprised by the names that I'm about to read, the 5 feckless Republicans, starting with Susan Collins of Maine, Murkowski of Alaska, Romney of Utah, California, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Michigan, Ben Sasse of Nebraska. He's like a National Review type Republican. And Pat Toomey of Pennsylvania, who's not running for re-election, by the way. And I heard someone say today, well, it's time to move on from Mitch McConnell. And I think it was on Grace's show. So this guy was saying, well, it's time for let the new breed of Republican senators fight it out. Cruz, Rubio, Hawley, and Sasse. And I thought to myself, which of these names does not belong? I don't think Sasse belongs in that category. Sasse has been backstabbing. Oh, Cotton was the 5th one. Sasse has been backstabbing all along. 844-500-4242. That's the toll-free number of the Howie Carr Show if you'd like to join us. And there was a poll came out today, and we can talk about this a little bit. It gets back to the poll question that we had a day or two ago, which was, would you be interested in a third party, a patriot party? And Donald Trump issued a statement last night through his office that he's not interested. He disavows these efforts to set up a third party, a patriot party, and start raising money, because that's always what these things do. But there was a poll that came out today that said if there was a third party and Donald Trump was involved with it, that the third party would cast the Republican Party, the grand old party, into the dustbin of history. It would be the third party, actually. But I know some of the listeners are saying, look at that poll, Howie. We could get rid of the Republicans and succeed, but a poll, as they always say, is a snapshot. That's not the way it works out. The 1912 election, the Bull Moose Party put the Republicans in third place, right? With Teddy Roosevelt. William Howard Taft, the incumbent president, finished third. But the Republican Party was back, and they swept the country in 8 years. And the Bull Moose Party was history when Teddy Roosevelt retired and then he died. And the history of third parties is they really always start strong. I was just reading a review of a book about the 1948 elections. Dewey defeats Truman. That's the headline from the famous Chicago Tribune headline that Truman held up as a laugh when the Tribune was a real newspaper, world's greatest newspaper, WGN. That's what their motto was. And the review said that there were 4 people running in 48, 2 third-party candidates. There was Strom Thurmond, the Democrat governor of South Carolina, was running as a quote-unquote Dixiecrat. And then there was Henry Wallace, who was the second vice president of FDR. He was dumped from the ticket because he was basically a communist. He was a stooge of Stalin. So he was running on the Progressive Party. And so when the campaign started, Wallace and Strom Thurmond were getting huge results in the polls. But as time went on, everybody started saying, Wallace can't win, Strom obviously can't win. So they faded back, they went to either Dewey or to Truman. Same thing happened in 92. I don't know if you recall this, but I think at some point in the summer of 92, Ross Perot was actually, if he wasn't in the lead, he was very close to the lead. And he faded away as time went on. So I don't see it happening. An 860 says Perot was the one who killed third parties. The rules were rewritten. I think it's just the way things work out, that people don't want to throw their vote away. I blanked the last 2, the last gubernatorial election in Massachusetts, and I really had to. It took a long time to get me to blank the vote, but I blank it because Baker was running. I always vote for the lesser of 2 evils, and that's the way most people vote. 207. I held my nose and voted for that insufferable shrew Collins to try to keep Republican control of the Senate. Patriot Party looking better every day. Yeah, I don't know. She is insufferable. But again, do you think Sarah Gideon would have been better? Of course not. Again, we don't live in a perfect world. We are not perfect beings. But we could just use a lot less imperfection than Susan Collins has been bringing to the table all of these years. So I don't know. You tell me. Would you go for a third party? People are also texting me and telling me, and I know this for myself. I'm not giving money to Republicans right now. I could give money to a guy like Devin Nunes or LaMalfa, the guy that we had on last week from the 1st District in California. I can give money to a few Republicans, but I'm not giving to the Republican National Committee. Why would I do that? Or the Republican Senatorial Committee. That's Mitch McConnell's committee. I'm just disgusted with rhinos. I guess Ted Cruz has filed a bill to impose term limits, which is that's kind of a stunt. That's not going anywhere. Obviously, they love being in office. Obviously, they're addicted to it. They're all going to be carried out. I don't know if you saw this. It came out a week or so ago that Dianne Feinstein, she's the one who should be presiding over this impeachment trial just by Senate rules. I think she's the longest serving senator, but she can't handle it because she's gone. So they have to hand it down to Pat Leahy, who's not much better. He's on the Joe Biden downhill slide. But she's 87 years old and she's not up until 2024. She has already filed papers to run for re-election. So she would be 91 when she was reelected, and she would serve until the age of 97. Now, I don't know that she's going to run. It's always best. You don't want to be a lame duck. Lame duck is my favorite dish, as Sonny McDonough used to say at the State House, the governor's counselor. And by the way, Charlie Baker is having his State of the State address tonight at 7 o'clock. And I know everybody is tingly with excitement. Forget the snow. The big story everywhere is, what will Charlie Baker say? Number 1 in deaths in nursing home. Number 3 overall deaths. Number 38 in effectiveness of the vaccination rollout. He's done such a marvelous job. Unemployment rate, a mere 7.4%, up in the top.
There's a lot at stake here.
Yeah, right. But he's not going to quit. He's going to have a Zoom call with the Republican State Committee now that this Censure Baker campaign is going on tomorrow night. By the way, if you still want to sign the petition to censure Baker, you can do so. CensureBaker.com, CENSURE Baker.com, and go there and sign up to censure Charlie Baker for demanding the impeachment. He's another one. He could be with these guys, Romney and Collins and Sass and Toomey and Murkowski. Just, they are a scurvy lot, a motley crew. But again, I just think if you split the normal American working man and woman vote in two, then the non-working class party, the Democrats, are going to prevail. And I don't want that to happen. 844-500-4242. We'll take some calls when we come back. I had a dental emergency last summer. Where did I go? Perfect Smiles. I've said this before, but I was reminded of what a perfectionist Dr. Houghton is. He is a veneer engineer and a world-class dental artist. Being on TV, it's important that I look my best every day. Dr. Houghton did that for me, and he can do it for you too. We're in a climate right now where a lot of people don't want to go into the city for whatever reason, and there are many. Perfect Smiles is conveniently located in Nashua, New Hampshire. Parking is plentiful. Parking is free. I was impressed to see all the state-of-the-art safety protocols they've taken since the virus. You'll feel safe and confident when you visit Perfect Smiles, and believe it or not, some of these new protocols actually make a visit to Dr. Houghton or any dentist more pleasant than in the past. To see for yourself how much better it is to go to Perfect Smiles, and it's one of the few places where you can say that, and get your perfect smile, call 1-844-A-PERFECT-SMILE or go to HowieCarrShow.com and click on the Perfect Smiles banner. You need to keep your teeth healthy. So go to Perfect Smiles, 1-844-A-PERFECT-SMILE. You can also see my video at PerfectSmiles.com. Perfect Smiles. Change your smile, change your life. I'm Howie Carr.
The paper boy with a big microphone, Howie Carr.
Joe Biden's plagiarizing prowess proves one thing: he's been stealing all his life.
Let us pledge that our generation of Americans will pay any price.
We shall pay any price.
Bear any burden.
Bear any burden.
Accept any challenge and meet any hardship.
Meet any hardship.
To secure the blessings of prosperity and the promise of opportunity for our children.
To assure the survival and the success of liberty.
But this standard is not a measure of how we can evaluate the condition of our society. It cannot measure the health of our children.
Yet the gross national product does not allow for the health of our children.
The quality of our education.
The quality of their education.
The joy of their play.
For the joy of their play.
Come on, man. You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.
Still have 30 gem spas left, Howie.
Okay, I'll push it again.
All right.
What impact do you think Russian interference had in the election?
I think it was one of the major contributors to the outcome.
Years from the 2016 election, and Hillary Clinton still can't accept the results. Take a listen.
You know, you can run the best campaign. You can be the person who gets the nomination. You could lose. I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president. He knows.
The one thing that Trump is fearful of when it comes to his being president is that finally we will see how illegitimate his victory actually was.
This wasn't on the level. Flashing videos that appear and then disappear, and they're on the dark web and nobody can find them. It's like applying for a job and getting 66 million letters of recommendation and losing to a corrupt human tornado. So maybe there does need to be a rematch. I mean, obviously, I can beat him again. So of course he's obsessed with me.
I can still teach you a few, kid. You're just a tin-horn thug and you always will be. You haven't got the guts to be anything else.
The Howie Carr Show.
Take advantage of HelloFresh's New Year's sale and get simple recipes and fresh, pre-portioned ingredients delivered to your door contact-free. Right now, get 10 free meals, including free shipping during HelloFresh's New Year's sale with code Howie10 at HelloFresh.com. That's code Howie10 at HelloFresh.com. My box arrived today, and the one I'm looking really forward to is the Mozzarella stuffed burger. Although Italian chicken over a lemony spaghetti sounds pretty good as well. It all sounds good. It's excellent food, and it's a change of pace, and you owe it to yourself. And again, it's a hell of a deal with the 10 free meals.
I've never even heard of lemony spaghetti. It sounds interesting.
It does.
It's like spaghetti with a lemon zest to it.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
It's fun to say too. Lemony spaghetti.
Lemony spaghetti. Yes, indeed. All right, Taylor, what's the poll question? What are the results thus far?
Which of Dr. Fauci's mandates do you believe? No masks, one mask, or two masks?
I'm voting for no masks. His original statement. I always believe what the first thing out of your mouth is the truth.
84% say no masks, and 9% say one, 7% say two.
All right. 844-500-4242. 774 says maybe TC Energy Corp, those are the builders of the Keystone XL oil pipeline, should hire Hunter Biden. I hadn't even thought about that. That is really a great idea. 844-500-4242. We still have some of the Gen Spas left, the Gen Spa cleaners. And this is really, really a great deal. If you're looking for a great Christmas or great Christmas, a great Valentine's Day gift, the Kathy Ireland Gem Spa. It's at half price, $69.95 value for just $34.98, and they go very fast. We got a lot of them today, and you go to HowieCarShow.com, click on store, and your sweetheart will love it because it'll enable her to clean her jewelry very easily just by putting it into the dishwasher in this little container, the Gem Spa, and it'll clean it perfectly. HowieCarShow.com, click on store, and it's half price for $69.95 value for $34.98. 844-500-4242. But you know, he must know a lot. Our head of the CDC, Dr. Anthony Fauci, because after all, he makes more money than any other federal employee. $417,608 a year. That's more than the President of the United States makes. Although, of course, Trump gave his salary away for 4 years. $417,608. That would make him about the 100th best paid employee at the University of Massachusetts. 844-500-4242. Bob, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Bob.
Yes, Howie, I just wanted to say on your comment about the third party, I think it's a dynamite idea, and I think its time has come. Sticking with the Republican Party, they've shown their colors now. It's like getting Jell-O to stick to the wall. And some of these guys who betrayed Trump in the final days, in the final weeks or months, very shocking, very surprising, and it just shows how you can easily misplace your trust. So,
but Bob, I mean, you're not surprised these 5 people that want to try Trump, these Republicans. You're not surprised by any of those names, are you? I mean, that's to be predicted.
No, I'm not surprised by that, but I am surprised. A couple of comments that Kevin McCarthy made, a couple of weeks ago. Now he says, "Oh, we didn't have all the facts." You know what I mean? I don't think that's good. That he's lost a little steam with me, and also McConnell. I just I can't warm up to that. You know what I mean?
No, I can't either. I know exactly what you mean. Before, or I guess after the vote today, Rand Paul, the sponsor of the measure, he said he thought he was only going to get 40 votes, and he actually got 45. And this really puts the nail in the coffin. I mean, if you think it's if 45 of them think it's unconstitutional, then 17 of those 45 are not going to, or 12 of those 45 are not going to vote to remove the president and remove the president. He's been removed. I mean, this is how silly it is. Will you vote to remove the president? Wait, his term expired. He's not the president anymore. Thanks for the call, Bob. 844-500-4242. I'm not defending Mitch McConnell and Paul Ryan and Romney and all the rest of the snakes in the grass, the turds in the punch bowl. But I'm just saying that, it's going to be very frustrating if you have people like Clinton. Clinton was elected twice with less than 50% of the popular vote. And that's when they were counting the popular vote legitimately. So he was a minority president, and the majority of people didn't want him, but they split the vote. That's the way, and it was frustrating. 844-500-4242. Stephen, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Stephen.
Yo, Captain, my captain, long-time listener, love you, love your show.
Thank you.
My topic is I am just so upset with the Republican Party. I never donated to anybody until the day Donald Trump said he was running for presidency. I seeked them out and wanted to donate. And for the past 4 years, I've donated for my paycheck just about every other week. And I mean, I'm not a big donor, but maybe at least $1,000 or more in the past 4 years. Now, when they send me something, I throw it in the trash, and they're never getting another damn penny from me. Some of these Republicans scammed them in the back. Some of them disrespected them. And if Donald Trump was to choose to run as a third party, I would definitely, most likely, pledge my allegiance to him.
But he says he's not. He says he's not. And again, the first day a third party, a candidate announces, that's his high water mark. Historically, that's always the way it is, whether it's a national election or a state election. Tim Cahill, believe it or not, didn't have bad numbers. I don't think he was ever in the lead, the state treasurer who ran as a third party candidate. Talk about a doomed struggle. All right, we'll be back. We'll take some more calls on this subject and others when we return. 844-500-4242. I'm Howie Carr.
Congratulations, New England. You did it. You made it through 2 months of torturous, nonstop, ear-jarring, teeth-clenching, blood pressure-raising radio noise. Those nerve-grating Matthews carols are now just a distant memory, echoing through the canyons of your mind with no sugary aftertaste. But it's a whole new year, and we've come up with whole new ways to annoy you. For example, remember those
Why does that
Matthews
thing keep
carols
cutting
that thought were
off?
just a distant memory echoing through the canyons of your mind? Well, guess what? They're now and forevermore sitting fat, dumb, and happy on the video portion of our wicked awesome website, MatthewsBrothers.com. But they're not the only videos we have out there. We also have videos on such useful topics as understanding condensation, how to properly install one of our windows, and even a video on how to get the sash back into the frame once you've accidentally removed it and there's a storm coming and the factory is closed and your wife is yelling at you to fix it now. We even got one of those. You can learn more about our wicked awesome windows and doors, but only at Better Lumber Yards and Window Professionals, or on the web at MatthewsBrothers.com. Matthews Brothers with one T, America's oldest window manufacturer.
What impact do you think Russian interference had in the election?
I think it was one of the major contributors to the outcome.
Years from the 2016 election, and Hillary Clinton still can't accept the results. Take a listen.
You can run the best campaign. You can be the person who gets the nomination. You could lose. I believe he knows he's an illegitimate president. He knows.
The one thing that Trump is fearful of when it comes to his being president is that finally we will see how illegitimate his victory actually was.
This wasn't on the level. Flashing videos that appear and then disappear, and they're on the dark web and nobody can find them. It's like applying for a job and getting 66 million letters of recommendation and losing to a corrupt human tornado. So maybe there does need to be a rematch. I mean, obviously, I can beat him again. So of course he's obsessed with me.
Now's the perfect time to get a pair of premium wireless earbuds, and Raycon is the way to go. Raycon start at about half the price of other premium brands on the market, and they sound just as amazing. And Raycon's everyday E25 earbuds are their best model yet. You get 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a comfortable, noise-isolating fit. Perfect for conference calls, video chats, or binging podcasts. Raycon was founded by Ray J, and celebrities like Cardi B and J.R. Smith have already given Raycons their seal of approval. I love my Raycons, and Grace loves hers, too.
Howie, I love my Raycons. Best birthday gift ever.
I listen to much better music than she does, though.
Hey, that's not true.
Now it's your turn to see what the hype is all about. Go to buyraycon.com/Howie. That's buyraycon.com/Howie. Buyraycon.com/Howie.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not generally speaking unruly.
That ain't a riot, what we're seeing right now in Minneapolis. They are strictly principled anti-fascists.
No organization is perfect. There was some violence.
Any reasonable person would say we shouldn't be destroying other people's property, but these are not reasonable times.
I argue to you tonight, all punches are not equal morally.
But thank goodness for the looters, man.
And please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do not get it twisted and think that, oh, this is something that has never happened before, and then this is so terrible, and where are we, and these savages and all of that. This is how this country was started.
People get mad, and people get sick of it. People are risking COVID to explain to this country that we're fed up.
Normally, we give Fredo Cuomo a lot of attention, but lately it's Governor Andrew Cuomo who's been grabbing headlines. Let's take a listen to some of his best moments.
You're an essential worker, so go take a job as an essential worker.
But the people aren't hiring because of...
No, there are people hiring. You can get a job as an essential worker. So now you can go to work and you can be an essential worker and you're not going to kill anyone. The number is down because we brought the number down. God did not do that. Fate did not do that. Destiny did not do that. We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great. Because I can also see you're in masterful shape, buff even. It has a very nice floral bouquet. Little I detected lilac, hydrangea, tulips. What does it smell like to you? Tulips, yes. Floral bouquet. Because if that's who they are, and if they are the extreme conservatives, they have no place in the state of New York.
Live from the Matthews Brothers Studios.
844-500-4242. You know who said that the Trump trial, impeachment trial, was unconstitutional, voted to say it was unconstitutional? Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell, who has been reportedly saying he would round up votes to impeach, to convict former President Trump. He voted that it was unconstitutional. So I think that kind of puts him in the thumbs down category. And his minority whip, I guess you'd call him now, John Cornyn from Texas, he voted it was unconstitutional too. So I guess he won't be rounding up too many votes for Chuck Schumer. So this thing is a non-starter, obviously. That's why we haven't been talking about it too much. And I mean, look at the clowns who walked over there at the Addams family wedding, and Eric Swalwell. People on the internet are changing his name to Eric Shagwell. I mean, and at least Jake Tapper asked him about it. this with the Russian spy. But he asked such an vanilla anodyne question, though, the way he put it. That was the problem. Cut 30.
And can you clarify how much contact you had with this Chinese national who goes by Fang Fang or Christine Fang?
Jake, yes, and this is a 2015 meeting about a person that I had as a volunteer back in 2012 on the campaign. The FBI has said that I did nothing wrong. Don't take it from me. There was no wrongdoing. I've learned nothing new.
Sometimes you're entitled as a reporter, even though you have to show respect, even to a nitwit like Eric Swalwell. But sometimes you're entitled to ask the direct question, did you sleep with this woman who has been identified as a communist Chinese spy? Can you clarify how much contact? And then he says she was a volunteer. What did she volunteer to do for you, Congressman Shagwell? But again, he has to show he's a Democrat operative. He took orders from people like it. He worked for a congresswoman, the same woman with the same rank. He's a coat holder. He's not a journalist. He's a payroll patriot. He's a member of the Clinton crime family. And then the most ridiculous statement of all, of course, is about the FBI. Again, the crooked FBI. It's becoming more and more obvious. These sentencing memorandums on Kleinsmith, who's going to be sentenced in a couple of days. I think on Friday. The Durham team, the special counsel, is saying that the hires up in the FBI knew that Carter Page was not a Russian asset. They knew that he was a CIA asset. And yet, so now the FBI, which has lied through its teeth, tried to frame the former president of the United States. Now he's using he says he's got a vote of confidence. He's been cleared by the FBI. Listen to this, cut 31.
The FBI has said that I did nothing wrong. Don't take it from me. There was no wrongdoing. I've learned nothing new. And Speaker Pelosi has said that she's keeping me on the committee. And by the way, Jake, Republicans were briefed on this conduct that this individual was trying to do with me and many other members of Congress back in 2015. I think this is retaliation more than anything else. I
think they were briefed, and they said she's made approaches to members of Congress. They didn't say specifically, or it would have come out long since. And so he's not only been cleared by the FBI, he's been cleared by Speaker Pelosi. And we all know you can trust Speaker Pelosi. She's totally on the level because she was set up too by the hairdresser in San Francisco. John, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, hey, Howie. Howie, about this third party thing, I think it's a good thing for people to threaten to start a third party because I think it can be a negotiation point to kind of scare the old hack Republicans into, finally primarying, patriots rather than the old rhinos or the hacks. I mean, remember Ron Paul? I mean, I was part of the Tea Party movement, and that was not a good thing because we split up into all kinds of different parties at that point in time, and that didn't really work. But when Ron Paul came along, the hacks got really scared, and we almost got him in up here in Maine. So I think everybody should get into the third party right now, scare the hell out of the Republicans that they're going to lose everything, and then at the last minute come back in and say, no, but we're going to take over the party, we're going to take over your machine, we're going to take over your dollars, we're going to take over your trademark for patriots.
Yeah, I just, again, I agree with you, John. They obviously are scared because people like McConnell, I think, would like to vote to convict Donald Trump. I mean, he is married to Elaine Chao, the former transportation secretary who quit on the day of the riot or whatever you want to call it at the Capitol. So, she was trying to be a good swamp creature and a Mrs. Mitch McConnell by quitting Orange Man bad. So but today Mitch votes that it's unconstitutional. His his leadership team basically votes for the same. Thune, Cornyn, they all vote that it's unconstitutional, so they're not going along with it. So maybe they're scared. I would be interested in seeing what the contributions are, how much they're down to the RNC and the Republican Senatorial Election Committee. I would bet they're way down. Thanks for the call, John. Dave, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Dave.
Hi, Howie. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I'm also a supporter of a third-party option here. And your last caller, he made some valid points. If you look back during the Ron Paul period, especially his first run for president, that was kind of an information campaign to get people warmed up and familiar with how the delegate process works, the importance of their local committees. And, that is the only thing that made the GOP move. Because right now they're reactionary. They try to out-Democrat the Democrats and have bargained away our values. So I'm invested in the Constitution Party because if you look back at every effort, the Tea Party effort, almost any third-party push, everything that they stood for and wanted to change were constitutional violations that they wanted to see stopped, to shrink the size of government, and they point back to the Constitution anyways. So
yeah, but the Constitution Party, did they even have a candidate, Dave? Did they even have a candidate last year?
They did, but it is always with a third party, you're dealing with ballot access and dealing with that across the nation. So until people get it out of their mind, we got 55% unenrolled, 10% Republicans, 32% Democrats. I think that's a very clear.
Well, that's in Massachusetts. That's in Massachusetts.
They're ready. They just got to stop thinking they can't do it.
Yeah. I think it's interesting that Massachusetts is the state I'm familiar with and Dave's familiar with, but it used to be that the Democrats had close to a plurality or close to a majority of the votes, and then the independents or the unenrolled were like at 30%, and the Republicans had like 15 to 20%. Now the unenrolled, the U's, are a majority. A pretty clear majority, and the Democrats, as he said, are down to 35%, something like that, maybe less, and Republicans are only 10%. And a lot of that has to do with, if you're unenrolled, you can take either a Democrat or a Republican ballot. But it's just people are fed up with both of these parties. I mean, if you work for a living, how can you be a Democrat? Seriously. And most of us in this audience know the drawbacks of the Republican Party, the weaknesses, shall we say. Think Mitch McConnell, think Susan Collins, think Murkowski, Romney, Sass, Toomey, Paul Ryan, Kevin McCarthy. Kevin, that earlier caller was right about Kevin McCarthy. He was ready to string up Trump in the early going. I mean, he jumped to the same stupid conclusions as if he was a CNN or an MSNBC anchor. It's embarrassing if you look back at it. 844-500-4242, 207. What they don't get is that most of us supported Trump, not the Republican Party. That is also a very good way. Yes, that is, yes. Yeah, it was not a Republican vote. It was a Trump vote. Absolutely. 844-500-4242. Joe, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Joe.
Hi, Howie. Howie, I don't think Trump is going to form a third party. And
he renounced it. He said he's going to have nothing to do with this new party that's being set up. He said that last night. Yeah, I agree.
People, are trying to try to convince him otherwise. But I think Trump's future is going to be largely determined on how well we do in the midterms. If he could help us get back the House and the Senate, I think that's going to be great for him to launch another effort in 2024. And by the way, I get calls from the GOP to donate, and I tell them, no Trump, no money, and I hang up.
And you know what, Joe? I think at the end of the 8-hour day, I think the solicitors those words are ringing in their ears. They hear it so much. I think that's the way everybody feels, isn't it?
I think it's true. No Trump, no money.
Well, don't you want to help out Mitch McConnell? No, I don't want to help out Mitch McConnell. Thanks for the call, Joe. 844-500-4242. Hit refresh on your dinner routine in 2021 with HelloFresh. Right now, you could take advantage of their limited time New Year's sale and see why HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit. HelloFresh gives you simple recipes and fresh ingredients sourced directly from growers and delivered to your door contact-free. We've been talking about the box that I received today. I mean, again, this is a new way to cook. One of the dishes I got is Italian chicken over a lemony spaghetti. You know, Taylor was saying, who's ever heard of a lemony spaghetti? That's an interesting concept. That's a new way to look at things. Mozzarella stuffed burger. I cook burgers all the time, but sometimes it gets a little boring. But stuffing a burger with mozzarella, what a great idea. Fully loaded pork taquita. I don't know what that is, but I'll give it a shot. I like a ground
I think
pork.
those are like mini tacos. They're like rolled up tacos, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's what it sounds like, a rolled up taco, a miniature taco. I'm looking
Sounds
forward to
very good.
that. They all sound really good. And they give you they're sourced directly from growers. And as I said, delivered to your door contact free. They just knocked on the door today. And then it was here. I went out and got it. I didn't have to go to the supermarket. I didn't have to wear a mask. With more than 23 weekly recipes, there's something for everyone to enjoy, including family-friendly, vegetarian, and low-calorie options. Say goodbye to never-ending meal planning and prepping. HelloFresh recipe cards are easy to follow with simple steps and pictures. You can get meals on the table in as little as 20 minutes. Plus, by skipping the grocery store, you can save up to 40% on groceries, cut food waste by 25%, save time so you can spend more time with your loved ones and less time looking for your mask. Or 2 masks now. Go to HelloFresh.com and use code Howie10 for 10 free meals across 4 boxes, including free shipping on your first box during HelloFresh's New Year sale. For a limited time only, go to HelloFresh.com and use code Howie10 for 10 free meals. HelloFresh.com. I'm Howie Carr.
A nightmare to liberals everywhere. He's Howie Carr.
Still have 12 left.
12, okay, great. To you in part by J.T. Kelly, real estate broker at Keller Williams, who helped my daughter find a house. The 2021 housing market is already on fire.
What?
Contact him at
1-800-364-9200.
200 moms, dads, sons, daughters, grandparents.
I mean, they don't want to lose
on
their
with
business.
us.
So they have
I think
a
it's
box
up to
of
30,000 people have died. Over 600,000 dead, 600 plus thousand people.
60,000.
660. We're in the middle of a pandemic that had cost us more than 85,000 jobs, lives of millions of people. Now we have over 120 million dead from COVID. 200 million people have died. 205 million people, 1,000 people. 210,000 people have died. 4 million existing billion, 500,000. 50,000. A class of 25, you end up having 2 classes of 12, for example. But you know, in the 2020 census, which is now 2 censuses ago, the Oval, back in May 9th, 2019, a $15 million, $15,000, $15 minimum wage. I got to the Senate 180 years ago.
Here at the Howie Carr Radio Network, we're all about saving you money. We want you to cut out the middleman and buy direct from our great sponsors. And to help you save, I've put together a cheat sheet. For instance, if you go to EdenPure.com, you'll find the Thunderstorm Air Purifier, and you can save $10 using code Howie. You can also get Eden Pure's Gen 30 heater and save even more money with code Howie Deal. Do you have a dirty, dingy carpet that could use some freshening up? Head over to Genesis950.com, use code Howie, and get a gallon of their cleaner, free shipping, and other goodies with code Howie. Put a little pep in your step with Super Beets. Get more bang for your buck and do some good for your heart by going to superbeatsradio.com/Howie. While you're at it, give your ears a treat too and listen to your favorite music and podcasts with premium earbuds from Raycon. Get them at buyraycon.com/Howie. And finally, make cooking easier with HelloFresh. They'll send you easy to follow recipes and all the ingredients you need, but only if you visit HelloFresh.com/Howie. Cut out the middleman, save money, and take advantage of these deals now.
I've seen a lot of Anchor cupcakes in my day. Here are some of the latest network nitwits.
Tanny says, if I'm elected president, I will push for a constitutional amendment to impose term limits on all members of Congress. Correct me, there already are term limits, so what does he mean?
And what are we hearing in the background? Is that shelling?
No, Katie, you're actually hearing that from here in Jerusalem, and it's actually fireworks going off right behind me.
We're in our tribes, we're in our corners most of our lives. I think we just heard some gunshots. Should we listen to that for a second? Control room? So that's not gunshots? Okay.
Ivanka is not the second lady. She is actually, I don't think she deserves this position. She's actually a senior advisor to the president. So the idea that he would demean her specifically in that way, he shouldn't talk about the first lady that way. We aren't all here to make salads for men. It's disgusting.
I mean, I'm presuming he was talking about Karen Pence when he said second lady.
Oh, God, I'm sorry. Not Montana. I'm talking about no, never mind.
Yeah, no,
Ignore me.
I mean, that's
I was getting Montana and North Dakota confused because, I don't know, I just was.
Got hate mail?
You bloated idiot! You stupid fat you!
Send it to Grace at HowieCarShow.com.
The actions taken by the prior administration to, for all intents and purposes, destroy the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah. 844-500-4242. So I'm getting made sport of here for saying I'd never heard of lemony spaghetti. Neither had Taylor. Gail in Texas says, ever hear of chicken piccata over linguine? Yes, I had some recently, as a matter of fact. Come on, man. Yeah, but
I've never heard it referred to as lemony spaghetti.
Right. Chicken piccata. Okay, it's got lemon in the sauce, which is delicious, and we all love chicken piccata. But I never heard it called lemony spaghetti. And so, but 603 says, how about spaghetti al limone? Oh, I knew Peter Limone. He was a mob guy in Boston, but I never knew his brother Spaghetti Al Limone.
Is that Don's cousin?
Hey, Peter Limone was one of the guys who went to prison, for 35 years based on FBI concocted, false information. He was framed for a murder he didn't commit, and he ended up getting like $27 million. But who would trade 35 years of your life for $27 million? Doesn't seem like a good deal to me. I don't think it seemed like a good deal to him either. Netherlands rocked by worst civil unrest in years as anti-lockdown rioters wreak havoc across the country. This is from the Wire. The seemingly peaceful demonstrations turned into chaos as groups of mostly teenagers began organizing on social media to attack public and private properties in different parts of the country in the anti-lockdown protest. And in a related development in Clark County, Nevada, that's Las Vegas, the biggest county in the state, obviously, they just announced that they're going to bring everybody back to the schools, all the kids. You know why? 18 kids in the public school students in Clark County, Nevada, have killed themselves since the lockdown. That's double what it usually is. This is what everyone has been predicting, that, suicides, depression, alcoholism, people falling off the wagon, drug addicts, drug addiction, all these things are going way up. So probably fewer than 18 kids under the age of 20 have died in the whole United States of America, or not many more. But that's how many have died committing suicide just in one county in Nevada since this whole thing started. What a disaster this has been. 844-500-4242. Let's see here. Brian, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Brian.
Hey, Howie, how you doing?
Good.
How are you? I just want to chime.
You're breaking up, Brian. Sorry about that. Mary, you're next with Howie Carr. Go ahead, Mary.
Hi, Howie.
Hi.
Unfortunately, I live in Maine. I love Maine as a state, but God, we really thought Susan learned her lesson after this last election. We really did. But nope. She has not learned that bipartisanship is a boat that sails in only one direction, for God's sake.
Mary, there's an old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Now, my suggestion for the Republican Party is that we take it over. We Republicans take it over.
Yeah.
And rename it to the Guerrilla Operating platoon or whatever. But get some fight in there, you know? I don't know how the Democrats do it. Did they make their people sign an oath in blood?
I don't know. I wonder about that too. None of those Supreme Court justices, there are 3 of them, but it's really 4 of them now with Roberts. They never deviate. Nobody ever says, is one of the Democrats going to deviate and vote for the constitutional side of the argument that's before us today? No, they never do. You're right. I don't know how it works either. You know, I've thought about this though. You know, you're right. The Republicans take over the Republican Party. Call it the Republican wing. The Republican wing of the Republican Party. That's like this whole thing with censurebaker.com that they're organizing now to have a vote to censure him at the meeting tomorrow night in Massachusetts, the Republican State Committee. It's the Republican wing of the Republican Party is coming after Baker, which is the non-Republican wing of the Republican Party that will do anything to curry favor with the Democrats. They want to win the strange new respect of the Democrats. It's ridiculous. 844-500-4242. We'll be right back. I'm Howie Carr.
Great news. The Gen 40 heater is back and just in time for the really cold weather. Oil prices are going to go up. The Keystone XL pipeline has been stopped. 35 million gallons of oil a day are gone. Now there is a new moratorium on fracking on federal land. That affects natural gas. It was 10 degrees in parts of New England this past weekend. You need to start planning, and that means you need a Gen 40 heater. Robert from the Cape says the Gen 40 performs like no heater I've ever used. It is remarkable. The Eden Pure Gen 40 makes you feel warmer than your furnace, and it also costs less to run. You may be working from home now, and you will need to pay close attention to your heating bills. The Eden Pure Gen 40 will pay for itself in a matter of weeks. Go to EdenPure.com and put in code word HowieDeal to get $50 off the sale price. That's EdenPure.com and use code word HowieDeal for an extra $50 off. These heaters are in high demand, so go right now to EdenPure.com.
What does the mainstream media really think of you? Banjos, please.
Bigots and racists. Credulous, rude, tin-toothed, working class, angry, white.
Aging, angry, white guys. Angry, white man.
Angry, white, old men. These angry white men, the angry white vote. All these angry white people. Too many of them want to see the people who are begging for change put down.
Racist. Racist, bigoted base.
It's white privilege, it's white nationalism, it's anger, it's rage, it's incel.
It tolerated a certain level of racism.
1 in 3 Americans are racist. The credulous boomer Rube demo. Y'all elitists are dead.
You elitists with your geography and your maps and your spelling. Even though my
math and your reading.
Yeah, you're reading.
They're too far gone.
Look at them. They're high-fiving each other, and they're going to go back, to the Olive Garden and to the Holiday Inn that they're staying at in the Garden Marriott, and they're going to have some drinks.
The Democrat Party is so full of loonies, social justice warriors, progressives, whatever you want to call them, that sometimes certain moonbats get overlooked. So let's take this moment to shine the woke spotlight on Crazy Mazie Hirono.
I am not going to be a fool to Mitch McConnell's shenanigans. Why should any of us? And it's not just a dog whistle, it's a bullhorn. Bullhorns. It's racism. It's basically, for many people, it's anti-Semitic. It's white supremacy.
Why not take a stand and vote yes for it? Seems like you're trying to have it both ways, not be hung by it politically, but also not say that you don't support it.
I disagree with you, Katie, that why should we engage in the kind of sham shenanigans that Mitch McConnell is really good at? I'm confused. This was just a sham.
Guess who's perpetuating all of these kinds of actions? It's the men in this country. And I just want to say to the men in this country, just shut up and step up.
I think the noose is closing, and, Giuliani is like a loose cannon, and so is the president, frankly.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
Hair loss is not one of life's more enjoyable experiences. If you're looking to fill in your hairline or reverse years of hair loss, DiStefano Hair Restoration will create a result that will be a transformative experience. The result of my IGT procedure was quite remarkable. I now have fuller, thicker hair, so I can even wear it a bit longer. There are a few major decisions I've made in my life that I wish I did sooner. My hair restoration is number one. It was by far one of the best moves I've ever made. My hair looks awesome, and the confidence from having a full head of hair again has left me feeling great. I used to look in the mirror and dreaded seeing my ever-increasing bald spot. Now when I look in the mirror, I see the new me with a full head of thick hair. For information on how to make the same choice I did, go to hairman.com/Howie. What are you waiting for? More hair to fall out? Get the hair you've always wanted. Hairman.com/Howie.
President Trump is clearly ethically unfit and intellectually unprepared to be the president of the United States. And I support Chairwoman. In the coming weeks, the House will hold hearings of Congresswoman Harris, Senator Harris. He's our president, and I would rather he not be taking something that has not been approved, especially in his age group and in his, shall we say, weight group, what is morbidly obese, they say. So completely inappropriate in so many ways that it's almost a given. It's like a child who comes in with mud on their pants or something. That's the way it is. They're outside playing. That's what he comes in with doggy do on his shoes, and everybody who works with him has that on their shoes too. But I only will do that if you tell me that this legislation is worthy of George Kirby's name. This moment of national anguish.
I know he always asks me tough questions, and he always has an edge to him, but I like him anyway.
Now that you're president and you're saying there's nothing we can do to change the trajectory of the pandemic in the next several months, what happened to 2 months ago when you were talking declaratively about I'm going to shut down the virus? When President Trump was imposing travel restrictions in March, specifically on China, then candidate Biden called it xenophobic and fear-mongering. So now President Biden is putting travel restrictions on people coming in from other countries. What word do we use to describe that?
Well, I don't think that's quite a fair articulation.
Why weren't President Biden and all members of the Biden family masked at all times on federal lands last night if he signed an executive order that mandates masks on federal lands at all times?
He was celebrating an evening, a historic day.
You're listening to the Howie Carr Show.
This is Charlie Baker.
Hey everybody, Charlie Baker here.
And these are his friends.
I got a text message the other day from a friend of mine who is no fan of most of what I've done over the course of the past 10 months.
In the world of Charlie Baker and his friends, the real world of panicked porn, political leaders cannot survive without absolute power. And the public can't be expected to blindly follow orders without first hearing a made-up story.
And he was texting me from the hospital during a moment when he wasn't on a machine. And he got it at an event where no one wore masks. And he said, now that I have it, I get how brutal this can be.
It's a confusing, nonsensical, follow-the-science world, but it's the only world they know.
And honestly, I'm scared to death, not just for me, but for my family.
And they're the only friends Charlie Baker has.
You've been hearing me talk about Super Beets for a while now, and I'm sure some of you are still thinking, why Super Beets? You could take it from me. The benefits of Super Beets are incredible. I take them twice a day, once in the morning when I get up, even before I have my first cup of coffee, and the other time in the afternoon, right before the show. It gives me a burst of energy. It's great for my blood pressure. It's good for circulation. It just makes you feel better. If that doesn't convince you, we can talk about the science behind Super Beets. Beets have nitrates. Nitrates support better blood flow, and better blood flow equals better energy and efficiency throughout the body, and even supports healthy blood pressure. But Super Beets does so much more than eating regular beets and is unparalleled compared to other beet powders. Just one scoop of Super Beets has the nitric oxide equivalent of 3 whole beets. Go to superbeetsradio.com/Howie and try out Super Beets yourself. www.superbeetsradio.com.
Hey, Howie.
Yes.
So Biden just gave a little spiel on the vaccine update.
Yeah.
He said, hopefully by the end of the summer, we'll have enough vaccines to vaccinate 300 Americans. He said it twice.
Have we've got that ready to go?
We've got that ready to go. You want to hear it?
Oh, I sure do.
From 400 million ordered to 600 million. This is enough vaccine to fully vaccinate 300 Americans by end of the summer, the beginning of the fall. But we want to make, look, I want to repeat, it'll be enough to fully vaccinate 300 Americans.
He wants to meet Pete. Did he say he wants to meet Pete?
We want to make, look, I want to repeat, it'll be.
Yeah, he did.
I want him to Pete. Hey, have you noticed the way they're playing these things out, though, Taylor? I read one last week. Someone was saying, the thing about him saying we have the largest, most extensive and inclusive election fraud in the history of politics, that's been debunked, by the way. That's been debunked. That's the official version.
Okay.
Because he misspoke. So it's debunked.
So is 300 Americans being vaccinated debunked?
That's been debunked. I will already announce it's been I know the fact checker at the Washington Post is out of business, but it's been debunked.
To live in the White House.
The White House has 2 more new residents, Champ and Major.
These dogs, they walk around all high and mighty.
We must remember there are many more important things.
Rump swabs, hacks, and moonbats beware. It's Howie Carr.
844-500-4242. When they weren't just falling all over themselves about the dogs at the White House last night, Major and Champ. Did anyone ever ask the question, is this a dope smelling dog? Is this one of those dogs that can smell like they use at airports, when flights coming in from south of the border? Because if it is, I think Hunter's got a big problem, doesn't he? But we have an update on the vaccine situation from President Biden, okay? And we're going to play this, and I'm going to announce that this sound cut we're about to play has already been debunked by the media. He didn't really say what you're about to hear him say. Glenn Kessler has already posted. They have these things. Whatever Biden said, it's been debunked. So this has already been debunked. Here it is.
From 400 million ordered to 600 million. This is enough vaccine to fully vaccinate 300 Americans by end of the summer, the beginning of the fall. But we want to make, look, I want to repeat, it'll be enough to fully vaccinate 300 Americans.
I want to meet Pete. It's going to be enough to vaccinate 300 Americans. 300 Americans. He didn't say that. You heard him say it, but he didn't say it. The Washington Post, the New York Times, the CNN, MSNBC, they're going to tell you tonight you did not hear. That's been debunked. It's just like he didn't say that we have the most inclusive and extensive voter fraud organization in American political history. He didn't say that. It's been debunked.
We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.
I truly read that this weekend, that's been debunked, that statement. He didn't mean to say that. That's just Uncle Joe. Come on, man. Here's the deal. Let me meet Pete myself. 300 Americans will be vaccinated.
And that's Uncle Joe, he's a moving kind of slow at the junction. Petticoat Junction.
All right, time now for the chump line.
I'll wear 2 masks if Dr. Fauci wears 1 muzzle.
I'd like to see a muzzle on him, but I'm not wearing 2 masks under any circumstances.
It used to be, what's the frequency, Kenneth? Now it's, what's the filter, Fauci?
Can you imagine if he were a pro-Trump guy and he was changing his story every couple of months about something that's pretty serious? I mean, he's asking 300 million, no, excuse me, 300 people to wear 2 masks now instead of 1. The Chump Line is brought to you by Matthews Brothers, America's oldest window manufacturer, reminding President Biden that while he and the good doctor redecorate the White House, they could save energy and increase the property value by putting in some of our wicked awesome windows and doors.
As goes the White House, so goes the nation. To the dogs. I mean it.
They were, you talk about if you have rabies, the dog or you were frothing at the mouth. The anchors had rabies. They were frothing at the mouth. They were so happy. They were so ecstatic. As Glenn Grunwald said from The Intercept, where is their sense of dignity?
Hi, Howie. Governor Patrick calling. There you go again, criticizing Democrats for this impeachment. We've been very consistent. We support after-term impeachment, just like we support after-birth abortion. We're going to be fine.
And Joe Biden is the most devoutly religious president we've had in the last 50 or 60 years. Just ask the New York Times, because that's a devoutly religious publication. They believe in religious freedom. Just ask the Little Sisters of the Poor how much the New York Times supported them.
Watching the U.S. Senate get sworn in for the impeachment trial is like watching the lunch line at our local senior citizen center.
Yeah, I would say the average age of the U.S. Senate is even older than the average age of the 240 members of the Wellesley Town Meeting, of which I was once one. Yeah, it's definitely looks like the early bird special, Q.
So what? Now we can impeach someone that had been a president? Can I get me an impeachment here for George Washington, please?
That's a lot of people are suggesting that he owned slaves. I mean, we have to go all the way back. I personally saw this suggested. I think it's a really good idea. I think we should take FDR's picture off the dime. He put all the Japanese Americans in internment camps during World War II. He appointed Hugo Black to the Supreme Court, a member of the Ku Klux Klan. Why is his picture, his portrait on the 10-cent piece?
So Howie, when does George Stephanopoulos interview Major the dog?
Don't give them any ideas. Isn't Jill now interpreting for what the dog is saying with the bark? I saw that somewhere.
A beautiful dog. A talented dog.
That's not Major. That's the dog that chased Al Baghdadi into the cave.
I hold in my hand the last envelope. The Biden cabinet, the 2020 New England Patriots, and the Deerfield Academy bridge team. Name 3 groups of losers. Hey-oh!
We were the New England champions. What can I say? How many people can say they were on the New England champions? Not many, but I can. You can look it up in the record books. Actually, you probably can't, because I don't think anybody keeps records on who the New England bridge champions are. Prep division.
Whatever happened to the post-Christmas COVID apocalypse that they were promising?
Yeah, the Atlantic said that there was going to be a post, I don't know what it was, post-lockdown restriction reduction or something in Iowa. And they predicted the people were going to be dropping like flies in January. Do you know what happened? The Atlantic, again, the same one that came up with the smear on President Trump. He said he didn't want to go visit the graveyard with the World War I soldiers in France because they were losers. That Atlantic Monthly, formerly a venerable Boston institution, now just another rag. The Atlantic predicted apocalypse now for Iowa in January. Do you know what the caseload went down in January so far, Taylor? 48%. 48%. Has the Atlantic issued a retraction? A clarification? An apology? You know the answer to that.
In recognition of the Democrats' love of ice cream, Ben & Jerry's is releasing some new flavors, including Hunter's Half-Baked, Rachel Mad Cow, Chunks of Schumer, Nancy P's Nuts, French Laundry Vanilla, and Early Bird Tapioca.
Those are pretty good. That's pretty good stuff. We could come up with more. Go ahead.
The reason Joe's got to do them press conferences early is because he got to get his 4 o'clock nap.
No, 4 o'clock is dinner time. He has dinner time. He has tapioca. Then he watches 2 Madlocks and a Bonanza, and then it's to bed.
1 mask, 2 mask, 3 mask, 4. All I want to know is, how many more? How many more?
I like this chump line today.
That was your last chump line message. Thank you for calling Howie Carr, you chump.
The chump line is the voicemail message service of the Howie Carr Show. You can call anytime between the hours of 1 and 4 p.m. and leave your chump line message at 844-500-4242. 844-500-4242. Press 2 for the chump line. Leave your message. We may or may not play it at this time each weekday. If you didn't hear your message or you just like hearing more chump line messages, go to Chopped Chumps. We post them. Those are the messages that didn't make the chump line you just heard. You can get Chopped Chumps around 7 o'clock every night, wherever you get your Howie Carr Show podcast. The Chump Line is brought to you by Matthews Brothers, America's oldest window manufacturer, reminding President Biden that while he and the good doctor redecorate the White House, they could save energy and increase the property value by putting in some of our wicked, awesome windows and doors.
1 mask, 2 mask, 3 mask, 4. All I want to know is, how many more? How many more?
Oh, boy. You know, what Officer Mark points out something. You know, they talk about the Republicans. The Republicans always cross the aisle to be bipartisan, and the Democrats never do. And he mentions Jean Shaheen campaign ads last year. One would have thought she was a Republican with her talk of unity and bipartisanship. I remember the first time I talked to Corky Mesner, her Republican opponent, on the air, Officer Mark. I said, "You're running as a Republican? Are you the second Republican in the race? I thought Jean Shaheen was the Republican running." But it's true. But she never crosses the aisle not once to vote with Republicans. That's the way it is. I'm Howie Carr.
He's suave, he's debonair, he's Howie Carr.
You may have heard that many of the RV and camping shows have been canceled, but don't worry. Cold Springs RV is happy to announce the New England RV Show. This is Howie Carr, and if you're a camper, I've got 2 words of advice for you. Buy early. With the popularity of camping growing and manufacturers' constraints, the earlier